Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Jay and welcome to the channel and welcome back to Prehistoric Kingdom's Alpha. In today's video, we are going to be building one of the larger habitats in our park, which is going to feature a small herd of Lambeosaurus as well as a couple Styracosaurus. If that does sound good to you and you do like today's video, please do consider leaving a like on the video. And of course, if you do enjoy this content and you want to see more, please do consider subscribing as well. I make Prehistoric Kingdom videos every Monday at 5 PM UK time. Now, what are we going to be doing today? Like I said, we're going to be building one of the larger habitats in our park. And to do that, what I wanted to do is have a central kind of outlook area where guests could go in and actually have a 360 view of the habitat around them. And I thought the best way to do that was to make this kind of circular area in the middle and then use the pieces to build like a viewing area just on the outside. And this was a bit tricky to do. I'm not fully acquainted with the tools in this game yet. Like, I keep trying to default to like the Planet Zoo shortcuts and stuff, which aren't really the same, of course. Like, of course, there are going to be a lot of comparisons to things like Planet Zoo because there are a lot of similarities in terms of how you build, how you use the different pieces and stuff like that. But the game is incredibly unique in a lot of ways. For example, with the scaling tool and stuff, which I've spoken about in every Prehistoric Kingdom video because it is the best. The scaling tool is incredible. But like, one of the things I wanted to do is create this big circular area here, and I think it worked out pretty well. I'm very happy with how it ends up looking. And the great thing is that with the scaling tool and stuff, you can really fill up like gaps like you see here pretty easily with like big pillars and stuff like that, and it ends up working out pretty well. One thing I've noticed as I went along this build today is that my building style is actually quite distinct here compared to like my building style in Planet Zoo. Here it's a lot more kind of haphazard and a lot more kind of like I build things as I go, and it's a lot more chaotic almost, I would say, than how I build in Planet Zoo. But at the same time, I still think it looks good, I think, but a bit messier. Like, I feel like once I learn how to use this game a bit more and like learn how to use all the different tools they provide, it'll get a bit easier, like with time. But as of now, I'm still kind of in the phase where it is going to be quite messy, but still quite fun, and I still think it looks pretty nice. Like I mentioned earlier, scaling things to make the pillars, the rocks, it all just really helps. And I think it ends up looking really, really good, and I'm very, very pleased with all of it. Today's video is going to be a bit shorter than the past one. I'm kind of surprised by that, to be honest. I looked at the time lapse and I was like, oh, this is actually surprisingly short. But I still think it was a pretty nice habitat overall, even though it is a bit shorter. As you can see, it's going to be quite a watery one. It's almost a bit like a marsh kind of area, and we're going to be including a small herd of Lambeosaurus, like I mentioned, and some Styracosaurus. And while I'm building the habitat, let's talk about the animals themselves. So, Lambeosaurus is definitely one of the more famous hadrosaurids. If you had like any sort of dinosaur book as a kid, you will have definitely seen a picture of this guy with the beautiful, beautiful crest on its head. And there are different specimens that actually have been discovered with different crest shapes. So, like, it kind of looks like it's got a bit of a hatchet on its head, if some people say that. Sometimes people think that maybe it didn't actually follow the shape of the bone, but instead had a crest kind of bigger than it and around it, so it's more circular. Of course, it's kind of up to debate right now. But it's a kind of common thing amongst hadrosaurids is that they have a lot of them have really cool crests. Like, of course, Parasaurolophus is one of the big ones, Corsair, Styracosaurus. There's so many ones with like incredible head ornamentation, which is really, really quite interesting. And you look at like large herbivorous kind of animals nowadays, like, you know, antelopes and stuff like that, you're all going to see a lot of them do have head ornamentation for some reason or another, be it for display or defense. In the case of the Lambeosaurus and other hadrosaurs, it was probably for display because they are relatively fragile, and generally that's I just think they look really cool. The Lambeosaurus lived in North America in the Cretaceous, and I thought because of that I'm going to include a second species, which is I'm going to include the Styracosaurus, just a pair of them, just because it also came from Cretaceous North America. They might not have really interacted or been in the same kind of location, but they're similar enough in location, I think, where it's not too like bad. It probably did live with Lambeosaurus, I think. And in fact, I might actually go in and, because I haven't recorded a cinematic yet, I might actually include the smaller Edmontosaurus, which is, I could use as a Gryposaurus, which is like a smaller hadrosaur that looks a little bit like an Edmontosaurus. So maybe I'll add that in as well. So yeah, we'll see. It's a pretty big habitat, like I said, so plenty of space for these guys. Again, very marshy. I think I might have added a bit too much foliage. Like you can see on screen, I'm doing the planters now, but if you look later on the actual habitat, I put in quite a bit of foliage. I'm not 100% sure whether I'll keep it like that, but we'll see. Later on, you'll also see me kind of just layer the sides of the habitat with rocks just to kind of ease up those sharp edges. But that kind of takes up a lot of space as well, and it ends up looking a little bit messy. So I do apologize for that, but I think it's okay. It looks alright, and I can always fix up the messiness later on by adding in some like different terrain bits or like some plants or some planters, you know, that sort of stuff. So yeah. You can see on screen I'm just playing around with the terrain tools again, just adding in some dirt, some mud. And oh my god, I love the options we can do with the terrain here, like adding in the pebbles, the little mud, it all looks so good. So pleased with it. Adding in quite a bit more wetland foliage than I usually do with the previous few habitats here. So I'm looking forward to kind of playing around with the foliage a lot more as we go forward in different habitats and maybe trying different things. I believe now with the Prehistoric Kingdom Alpha, they've released the last big update for the Alpha. Anything else they're going to release will be kind of patches or bug fixes, because they're going to really now double down on their work for the beta, which will be out probably sooner rather than later. And I think if I'm keeping up the whole once a week schedule, hopefully we'll be able to kind of still put out one video per week until the alpha actually comes out. I mean, sorry, until the beta actually comes out. So that could be quite fun. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they have in store for us, because even just as an alpha, I'm already loving the game. As you can see, we already have so much creative freedom and stuff like that, so I'm very much looking forward to that. As you can see here, I'm just quickly putting in a ramp, and that's pretty much it for the building aspect of this. The ramp, I'll duplicate it on the other side. Really not much else I do as far as building goes. As you can see with the central outlook area, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. I like the little raised kind of stair area on the perimeter of it, so that people can kind of walk up a little bit and then look down into the habitat. And over here with the ramp, I'm just adding stairs on one side to allow people to walk up that way if they so choose. But yeah, very pleased with how this habitat turned out. Very pleased with the animals we've used today. Styracosaurus is one of my favorite ceratopsids. Beautiful animal. I love how it looks in the game with the little osteoderms and quills. So nice. I really like it. It's quite a unique ceratopsid. It's just one of the more interesting ones. Got a big spiky frill with a big nasal horn, but no eyebrow horns, which is pretty cool. Quite unique for a ceratopsian. Or a ceratopsid. I'm not super familiar with taxonomy like that, so if I say ceratopsian, ceratopsid, or you know, the equivalent for other dinosaur species and genuses and families, you know what I mean. Basically, I'm just referring to the most generic term possible. Anyways, here's just me doing the rock work. You'll see me do a little bit of it as we go along towards the final part of the episode. And then we're gonna hop into the cinematics. I'm gonna go film them now. Prehistoric Kingdom, for the alpha, the game's been surprisingly stable for me. I've only had like one or two minor crashes, and it's always managed to save my data perfectly fine. So I haven't had anything like bad happen, so I'm very pleased with how well they've optimized that. Anyways, now as we're coming up to the end of the episode, I just want to quickly say a big thank you to all of you for watching the video. If you did like it, of course, give it a like. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of today's episode. Do subscribe, of course, for more Prehistoric Kingdom content every Monday at 5 PM UK time. Planet Zoo videos every Wednesday at 5 PM UK time. And Jurassic World Evolution every Friday at 5 PM UK time. With that all said, just want to say again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!